Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Manna. So glad to be with you all again, and really glad to welcome Rob and Randy to our show, and excited to hear about what they've done in their metabolism program and how you might be able to benefit. So welcome, Rob and Randy. It's good to see you guys.
Oh, thanks,
Michael,
thanks, Doc, for having us on. We're
absolutely.
super excited.
Super pumped. Let's do this, man.
Let's do this, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met these guys not too long ago, and they're a bundle of energy and positivity and patient care, patient centeredness, coming from some of their own experiences in the healthcare system as providers and patients. And they've come up with something truly innovative and frankly effective for resetting metabolism. And I want to dive into that straight away. But just as a moment of introduction, can you guys give us a little backstory on who you are, how you met, and how you came together towards health and wellness in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really how our journey with metabolism began. If you would have told us 16 years ago that we'd
Oh
be
man.
metabolism experts and helping people with their metabolism, we'd have said you were crazy. So that's a great question.
Yeah, no, so I'll start off then. So we're both retired chiropractors. So that's chiropractic by trade. Like Dr. Rob said, I'm like, man, I thought I'd be, seeing patients chiropractically my whole career. And you never know what God has in store and how things can change. So my story changed pretty dramatically back in July of 2010. You know a little bit of my story, Michael, but I was 8 years into practice, teaching everybody how to be healthy. I get a late stage cancer diagnosis. So they diagnosed me with metastatic melanoma, super aggressive, given me about 2 months to 2 years to live. So the diagnosis and prognosis, well, it was devastating. And it would spread to my lymphatics, my liver, my stomach. And here I am, the guy who's supposed to be helping everybody be healthy, riddled with cancer, ashamed, embarrassed, really asking God, how did this happen to me? Why me? All those conversations. But I think as we all know, really God reveals a lot in moments that you really can't see ahead or what's even next. But this is a moment where you could God could show you something pretty powerful. So you find out what you believe when you're thrown directly into the fire, right? It's easy to say one thing, isn't it?
Right.
But man, what are you going to do when the proverbial crap hits the fan?
Right.
And so when it hit, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew what I wasn't going to do. And so here's my belief, and I think you share, in fact, I know you share this belief with me, is that God does not make junk, okay? That we were made in his image, that we're fearfully, we're wonderfully made, and that health really is the normal. And disease like cancer is the abnormal. So my journey, I didn't want to treat a condition. I wanted somebody to work with me and treat me, the person who had the condition, and really change the environment that created this metabolic crisis. So my journey, long story short, my journey led me to Spain. I'd heard about a medical doctor from Lebanon, Dr. Raymond Helou, who was helping people overcome chronic illness. And I remember getting over there. I'd never left the country before. Spanish was a little rusty. And I get over there very stressed out. And I meet this doctor and I get a 20-second consultation for $30,000. All right. I'm sure your audience may want to hear. Most people want to hear the $30,000 consultation for that I got in 20 seconds. Anybody want to hear it, Dr. Rob? I know you've heard it a couple of times. So here it is. I'm sitting in this room waiting to get the results of my blood work back. And the door just literally busts open. I felt like it was kicked open. He didn't kick it open, but he just busted it and he points at me and he goes, "I'll do nothing that will kill you." And I'm like, well, thank God, because they couldn't offer me that in America. And he goes, "Now you might die, but I'll do everything that I can do to get your body adapting again, chemically, physically, and emotionally. I think it's your best chance to get well and for cancer not to come back." The best part was, "Randy, there's no need for theatrics. Are you ready to get started?" And obviously I was like, heck yeah. I didn't ask him what it was going to cost or how long it was going to take or what other research I needed to read. I believed I'd found the man that aligned with my values and my principles that I could literally live or die with. So that's how this thing got started, because, you know, I'd never really considered, you know, looking at cancer even as a metabolic condition. But over the next
Right.
30, 60, and 90 days, you know, I'm getting well. And, you know, here I am, you know, almost 15 years later, happier and healthier than I've ever been. And so that got the wheels turning on looking at health a little bit differently, or at least
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from a metabolic set of lenses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's he was like, even to go into as far as the rest of that journey there goes, as he was in Spain. So I was there with him watching all of
Yeah.
this happen, and what he didn't even realize even at that time. And it's funny because we're best friends, and that's where, you know,
Right.
pride and ego takes over, especially as doctors treating patients. Is that I had injured my back so bad that I could barely walk. And leading up to that, because I was having a hard time walking and wasn't able to exercise, I had ballooned up over 65 pounds, and I had always struggled with my weight as long as I could remember. And so, with learning what we learned with Randy, with the metabolic conditions and the cancer, I'm like, you know what? If I just applied that same science
Mm.
to myself,
Mm.
maybe I could be able to get some help, because I sure the heck didn't want back surgery. And so started doing that, and the inflammation in my back went down. I was walking again, and I was losing weight. And
Yeah.
for the first time that I could ever remember happening, is not only was I losing weight, is I wasn't ever getting stuck where I would get stuck before. I
Yeah.
got to the point where I lost 65 pounds. Here we are 15 years later. I've kept that weight off, haven't gained it back, because we
Yeah.
really truly unlocked the door to really understanding metabolic health. And so it's like, you know, if you want to help somebody else, like, you know, you hear other people say, is if you want to help somebody else, you help yourself first.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really equips you
Yeah.
to be able to be the person that can help the person that you used to be.
Yeah.
And so that's how this, you know, this
Mm.
metabolism journey started.
Right.
And so then we were both helping people metabolically, and then joined forces together and started Happy Healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal backstory, gentlemen, and thank you for sharing it. I've been doing some reading lately on cancer. I want to come out with some publications and maybe short tutorials about it soon. But you're right, there's a whole lot of it now to be understood as a metabolic problem. You know, first of all, in the mitochondria and some dysregulation of basically efficiency, and so that can spill over to create damage to the genome, et cetera. So phenomenal. So you guys got some secrets to getting the metabolism humming. It, amongst them, cured your cancer, Randy, and Rob helped you take off 65 pounds. So
Yeah.
something must be potently working here, right? So what is the secret sauce? How does your program produce results? Because those are some striking results. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, it's a great question. And so really, and you talked about that when we were talking about even the mitochondria, it really starts at looking at your body at a cellular level. And that's where a lot of people, when it comes, especially when it comes to losing weight, it's like, okay, they go somewhere and everybody gives them the same way to lose weight, which is, you just need to go on a diet, which really is they're telling them to reduce their calories.
Absolutely.
So caloric restriction.
Yep.
And exercise more. And then you have these people who are calorically restricted and they're having a hard time and they're struggling. They're exercising like crazy and they're struggling. And the reality is that they haven't gone and looked and took a deep dive into their health at a cellular level, and really making sure that you're healing the cells. Because if your cells are damaged and in need of repair, that mitochondria is not going to work the way it's supposed to. Your body's not going to be efficient at utilizing the energy that's being created with what's happening inside that cell. And that really disrupts people's metabolism. They have no idea that that's even going on.
Yeah, no doubt. It all health really boils down to happening at a cellular level. You have healthy cells, you have abnormal cells. And so metabolically speaking, when we got back from Spain, we're putting the pieces together and I'm recovering and getting well and Rob's losing the weight and we're keeping it off and we're seeing this, what really made a lot of sense to us was looking at the body in a way that was still consistent with our chiropractic background, because the one thing that taught both of us is that all health happens from the inside out, really above down, inside and out. A lot of times, Michael, we're looking for answers outside when really we always say God really doesn't need more help healing you. He already healed you. He made you in perfection. He really needs you to stop interfering with that perfect design. So the foundation of what we wanted to do was start changing the environment, start looking at the things that are interfering with the body's ability to create energy, which hence is our metabolism. So the foundation was that. And that's what a lot of people don't get, because they're asking, how do I lose weight? What you want to start asking is, how do I heal my metabolism? And what does that look like? Well, number one, we already know what cells need to be healthy. They need nutrients. Okay. So we're focused on providing specific key nutrients that's real food based. So we are a real food company. You know, we're not prescribing protein powders and protein shakes and bars and thousands of supplements. It feels like you can walk in and to a doctor's office and walk out with. We're really looking at key nutrient deficiencies and providing real food suggestions so they can start eating these foods that their body can actually utilize. I know one of the mistakes I was making, I always talk about my life, BC and AC, before cancer and after cancer. Before cancer, I really was that eating 5 to 6 times a day guy, you know, trying to be big, be 185, 190 pounds. I was eating tons of processed, you know, clean food, tons of protein bars and so many shakes and taking so many supplements. And I was even eating a lot of seed oils. I was making some big mistakes. So coming out of that, I love our program because we are real food, and we have a metabolic disruptor assessment that we provide for all of our clients to look at where are these imbalances, what is disrupting your metabolism. And what we found is there's about 4 or 5, maybe 6 different major metabolic disruption patterns that we've identified over the last, 15 years since we've really been doing this, that people fall into. Once we can run this assessment and find out what's disrupted, then that's when we customize the real foods that they'll be eating over the 5-week period, where we help really wake up somebody's metabolism and flood their body with really bioavailable, nutrient-dense nutrition.
So to recap then, your program consists of intake and categorization of the person in terms of what's causing their metabolic dysfunction, and then specific foods to work with their metabolism, things to consume and things to avoid to get that metabolism tuned up. Okay.
You got it, because no two people are the same, right? Everybody's unique. Sure. One person eats this food and it's not working. The next person eats that food and it may be considered healthy. But if you don't know which foods work with your metabolic disruptor pattern, you could be making some mistakes that's easily correctable.
Sure. And are there any supplements or tinctures or anything in addition to this program?
You know, there are, and it's going to be specific to the people going through the program. And I think it's important, you know, when you were asking what's the secret sauce, well, just like any sauce is just not one ingredient, right? There's a lot of ingredients in that sauce, because, you know, like we said, it's got to be customized. But one of the things that people don't realize is that right now, because we're in such a toxic world, is we're around 80 to 90,000 different chemical toxins on a daily basis. And the reality is that when those go into the body, that really disrupts your cellular function. Yeah. And because of that, we're talking about, you know, as Dr. Randy was saying, is that you want to make sure that you get nutrients, right? Well, those nutrients can't get into the cell to begin with if those cells are also toxic or covered in toxins. And that's, you know, one of the things that can cause is things like insulin resistance, for example. And so cortisol levels then go up, and then it puts the body into fat storage. So really with that sauce, we're literally creating this recipe specific for that person to detox that person's body, to detox them of the seed oils that Dr. Randy was talking about, because those suckers, they have, like a 600-day half-life on that for your body to even get rid of those. And so until your body really does get rid of those, if you're not doing some kind of a detox protocol in there, which is what we help people to be able to do, that person's never going to truly be metabolically healthy, because the nutrients can't get into the cell to be able to help the cell to be able to function properly to begin with. So that's got to be part of that is part of that secret sauce, is detoxing the body.
Okay. And
So there's products that go with that that support that process. Because it's the number one metabolic toxin in our opinion. When you start putting in omega-6 fatty acid, these 18 carbon chain linoleic acid, these double bonded fats, you can't just eat them and stop eating them and get better. You really got to have a strategy to get them out of your system. So that is a part of the protocol. We're detoxing from seed oil, even a lot of forever chemicals like glyphosate that can really damage the gut lining and the gap junctions and cause severe systemic inflammation and endotoxin. So we're really removing a lot of hard to get rid of chemicals, detoxing the body from seed oils. Like you said, getting the body insulin sensitive, getting the body fat adapted. And you can't get the body fat adapted by eating a bunch of fat. Think about it. If you can't burn fat for fuel, how is eating more fat going to fix the problem? So you got to get fat adapted and then get carb adapted so your body can use either fats or carbohydrates for fuel, which is metabolic flexibility. All those things we're working on over the course of a 5-week period to help wake up, retrain, and reset the metabolism.
Very engaging, gentlemen. I'm loving the concept. What kind of results are typical for you? Let's say I have Jane Smith, 50-something-year-old woman who needs to lose some weight, or John Doe's got a dad bod and he's got 15 pounds on his gut. Like, what's typical? What could be expected from your program?
Well, for Jane, we'll handle Jane first.
Okay.
So let's say Jane has 50 pounds of body fat. Typical results for a female are going to be 25 plus pounds lost over the course of our 8-week program. So the majority of that weight loss is going to happen in the first 5 weeks, which we call our retrain phase. And then the reset phase, which is where we're really locking in that new metabolism. So Jane doesn't gain the weight back and she can be able to keep that weight off. So that's a typical result. We were just looking at some cases where we had somebody that lost 48 pounds in 5 weeks. We had somebody that lost 22 pounds in the 5 weeks. So it really just depends on how much fat that person has to lose. And once we take them through that reset phase or that retrain phase and then the reset phase, then we got to make sure that their body has some time to really repair, how to be able to adapt, because we're taking that person into a hormesis over the course of that 8 weeks. And so we got to let their body settle down. And if they have more weight to lose, they can be able to also then do another round of the program to be able to continue to lose more weight or more fat. For John that we're talking about, John Doe, at 15 pounds, that's for men, if they have it to lose, the average weight loss for men is going to be 30 plus pounds. And we have people, we were just looking at a case that he lost, Patrick was
54 pounds.
Yeah, 54 pounds.
That's obviously, on the higher end of what you would see. But, everybody's unique. That's the beauty of it, Dr. Michael, is we're not forcing weight loss. We're going back to creating an environment where the body can adapt and heal. So the weight loss will happen as a side effect, so to say, of getting the metabolism strong, getting you fat adapted, getting you insulin sensitive, getting that flexibility back. But if you've got 20 to 30 pounds to lose, it is very typical to see that weight be gone in a matter of weeks, which is exciting because that's one of the biggest reasons people don't succeed with any health journey, is that the sacrifice isn't outweighed by the result in a reasonable amount of time. People are going to quit. They're going to tap out, especially if you're thinking in your brain, you've got to starve yourself and live on a treadmill to go get that 30 pounds off over the next 6 months. You're already quitting coming out of the gate. So we've really resolved that issue and have kind of overcome that limiting belief that it can't be done. It can be done. And when you start seeing it happen that quickly, that is encouraging, and it keeps people super motivated to complete the entire program and to stay on track, so you're not doing a version of the program.
Well, that's phenomenal. Those are extraordinary results, truly. If 20, 30 pounds of weight to have it be fat loss, in 8 weeks is extraordinary. I think so many people would jump at that opportunity metabolically. So just to be clear, you're saying that they can lose the 25 or 30 pounds. This is without feeling hungry necessarily, or without depriving themselves. They're just shifting to a different form of intake, but it's not, that's on no calorie restriction.
Yeah, you got it. So the first part of the question, there is no hunger.
Right.
because your body is getting tons and tons of calories from stored body fat. You know, the average person that we work with needs to lose probably 30, 40, maybe even 50 pounds of body fat. Well, we know in just 1 pound of fat, there's over 3,500 calories available that they can't get access to. So we're turning on their metabolism to go now use their body fat for energy. So some of the clients are going to be burning, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8,000 calories a day of their own body fat. If you can imagine eating 8,000 calories in a day, you're not going to be hungry at all. In fact, some of our clients really even struggle to eat because the body gets so efficient at using fat for
Whoa.
fuel over that 5 weeks. And if you're
Wow.
hungry, that's a big concern. That means if somebody is hungry, they're not following the program correctly, or they could be pulling fat from another source. This is why we have a team in place at Happy Healthy that coach, that guide, that lead to make sure that anybody going through the program has all the support that they need. At this point, there isn't anything that we have not seen because we've done this for so long. We can pinpoint problems so quick now, which makes us look a whole lot smarter these days. It's really the smartness of the incredible team that we have and the support that the clients get.
Phenomenal. I love that. I love the fact that there's support there. There's community aspect. There's input.
Oh yeah.
Right. So that's a part of the program that we didn't get a chance to highlight much before, but there's a whole interplay back and forth. There's coaching, there's feedback, there's encouragement, et cetera, aside from all the specific nutrient interventions and meals, suggestions and stuff, which is phenomenal. So my couple final questions then would be, is this the Happy Healthy Thin program with you guys, is this considered a one-off or maybe a two-off event in which someone breaks through some plateaus and then they go back to their previous state of being and eating, but they can maintain a good weight because now their body's been shifted somehow? Or is this the beginning of some ongoing new paradigm that they have to continue with for the rest of their lives? Or where's the balance? And another way of saying that's what happens when people stop the program at the end of the 90 days. Where do we move forward?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, so where we move forward is really just going to be dependent on that person that's going through the program. So we'll have, let's say somebody comes in and they're just like way out in left field with what it is that they're putting into their body, what their lifestyle is. They're eating, McDonald's for, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and they're that person, right? So that person really needs to make some lifestyle changes. And so that's one of the best things. And you mentioned the community aspect of it. So when somebody does come into the community, we're in there talking, and just like we're talking right now, every single week, giving them really applicable information that's all about living a happier, healthier lifestyle. So because we've now got that person in there for 8 weeks, we're helping them to make this lifestyle shift. So that person that used to say, you know what? I've got a sweet tooth. I've got these sugar cravings. You don't understand. I have to have pasta. I have to have bread. I have to have sweets. That person, because they're now fat adapted, is no longer craving those things because of this modification now inside their body. So that helps them to be able to make that lifestyle shift so that after the 8 weeks, they're not going back to doing all the things that were disrupting their metabolism to begin with. And I think like anything else, if you go back to doing all of the things that was breaking your metabolism to begin with, eventually your body can start gaining that weight back because you're breaking just like little physical laws. And if you break any physical law, of course, there's going to be a consequence to that. However, having said that, when people do go through the program, we have what we've termed now the metabolic thermostat. They've got a new metabolic thermostat. And I think Rainey does a great job of explaining that. And this is why people aren't gaining the weight back, barring them just going completely off the wagon and going back to doing the exact same things that they were doing before.
Right. Yeah. I mean, our program, it's not a lifestyle. It is a 2-month system to wake up and heal your metabolism, but then help move you into more of a lifestyle based approach. But one of the ways we're able to help people keep the weight off is it's what he was talking about. We use the example of a thermostat. Everybody knows how that works. We're here in Dallas, Texas. It is a hot day. we've got the thermostat set in here about 68 degrees, nice and chill. On the outside, it's over 90 degrees. But it doesn't matter because we've got the thermostat set, and it doesn't matter what's going on outside. The temperature is going to stay regulated. It is a zero-sum game. We're staying right here. Your body does the exact same thing. It has a metabolic thermostat. Everybody has one. So the goal to keeping it off isn't to work with somebody on an unhealthy metabolism without shifting and readjusting their metabolic thermostat. So we literally, over those two months, are readjusting and moving their thermostat to a brand new position. So that weight loss that they're losing is also happening with readjusting where their body sees them now. They'll have a brand new weight set point. And that's really controlled hypothalamically speaking. That's a hypothalamic gut axis initiator. And we give people a trigger that if they ever go 2 pounds above that new weight loss, they can do this metabolic trigger. It'll take them right back to that new weight loss thermostat within 24 to 48 hours. And they can use that for the rest of their life. Now, if somebody needs to lose more than 20 or 30 pounds, we want to get them back through another 2 months of the program, maybe clear out another disruptor pattern type, reset, readjust the thermostat again. That way we're continuing to move the needle, increase metabolic function, strengthen their metabolism so they're losing weight, they are keeping it off. And that's our vision. We want everybody to keep it off. But this is why people need leadership, coaching, support, and they need to be a part of a community. So the ones that stay connected, they do the best. I wish we could say everybody who does our program is a lifer, but a lot of people do hang around because when you get those kind of results and when you can feel that way, when you get your confidence back, when you're coming off medication, reversing, we were doing a case study earlier in one of our webinars. We were talking about a case. This lady literally reversed her diabetes, off blood pressure, off cholesterol, lost 48 pounds. What is that worth to get that type of a result? It's insane. It's worth everything. So I would like to think that the majority of people come in and work with us, get not only get great results, but get lasting results. And that's the ultimate goal.
And there was another one to answer that question as well as that. And that's, as we were looking at some of these cases that had sent us a message, this was a person that had come on a retreat. We had a retreat last year, this time, as a matter of fact, in Ischia, Italy. It's absolutely beautiful. She was in Italy for 2 weeks. She came back after having ate the bread, the pasta,
the wine
lavishly there. She lost 4 pounds being on vacation for 2 weeks in Italy. And she's got a faster metabolism. She said that would have been impossible for me to do before going through the Happy Healthy Thin program.
Wow. Yeah, that's an extraordinary result. So she went to Italy, loved it, just lost herself, and somehow still lost 4 pounds during.
Right? Can you imagine? You come back from vacation, instead of thinking you got to start this diet on Monday, you're like, you get on the scale and you're like, holy smokes.
Wow.
Yeah. And then a mutual friend of ours, Dr. Michael, one of our favorite case studies is a friend of ours, Dale Bigtree. And if you don't know who Dale is, obviously the producer and host of The High Wire, has the Informed Consent Action Network, fights for medical freedom. We love this guy, support this guy. But Dale we challenged Dale about 2 years ago because we were all at dinner and we were like, Dale, we could probably take 30 pounds off you in 5 weeks. And Dale, he's a little skeptical. He punches holes into everything. And he's like, guys, really? 30 pounds in 5 weeks. It sounds unbelievable. But he goes, I can do anything for 5 weeks. And so Dale went all in. We tested his metabolic disruptor pattern, customized our program with him, and he lost 28 pounds in the 5 weeks. Not quite 30, but he got 28. And then all of his audience at the High Wire is going, Dale, what's going on here? Like, you're changing, the jawline's coming in, the inflammation's leaving. And so Dale threw us on the High Wire last February, or no, was it February?
It was February.
Yeah, February of last year, and did a whole show on his journey about the program, the crisis we're in, and his results. And it was pretty phenomenal. He really helped launch us virtually because he has an audience all over the world. Now we're in 5 other countries, and we made the full shift to go virtual with everything that we're doing. So, Dale Bigtree, man, if he buys in and he's all in, and you know how hard we were vetted with his team and his legal operation, I was like, this is pretty cool. So in fact, we're going to see Dale tomorrow. We're going to be in Austin, Texas at the release of a new movie that's being released called Do No Farm. Have you heard of that movie?
No, I haven't. Do No Farm. Okay.
Yeah, it's Dr. Salim. What's his last name?
Asim, I don't know what his last name is,
but
yeah,
anyway,
he's from the UK.
Yeah, from the UK. Awesome movie. So we're going there for the premiere of the movie there in Austin, and Dale's going to be on the panel there. We'll be talking all things health, metabolism, and making America healthy again, which is the goal.
There we go. Absolutely. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of that crosses over all spectrum politically, culturally, and all that, right? Who doesn't want to be healthy? It doesn't matter. It's basic human desire. We all need to be healthy. We want to deep down, and we need high quality information, some guidance sometimes to become our best selves. And so many people are carrying around this weight, both physically and then metaphorically. They're depressed. They don't like the way they look in the mirror every day. They don't feel good at the gym. They're getting hurt, right? They're feeling sluggish. And what if we could put you reliably through some program that takes 25 to 30 pounds off in 5 to 8 weeks and just lightens your load? That would be extraordinary for a lot of my patients, a lot of people out there. And I love the beauty of this as far as it's resetting your metabolism. It's not based on deprivation, and it doesn't even have to carry forward indefinitely. It's a period of time to get yourself adapted, correct, get yourselves cleaned out, dialed up, tuned up. Let yourself move forward with an amazing metabolism. Reset that thing. Tremendous. If I had some, you got me practically wanting to jump in the program, and I'm pretty trim right now. But anyway,
hey man, we can all tune everything up, right? We always want to get to that next level. There's other strategies we may implement with you, Dr. Michael. You already are definitely happy and healthy and look amazing, but I think we could probably all tune things up a little bit.
There we go. All right. We'll have to talk offline. Maybe try to bring some more abs out or something.
I love it.
So this is so valuable. Thank you guys for taking some time to explain it. We're going to include an affiliate link below and some different ways to contact, because I know people are going to be interested. But do you want to go ahead and mention anything on the air right now? What's the best way for people to take a next step?
Yeah, to take the next step, I'd say, if you've got any questions, you can always reach us on Instagram at the H2, the number 2 life, and ask any questions that you have there. And I'd say next step, like you said, you'll have that affiliate link on there. Is click that affiliate link down there and get more information about the programs and how they can be able to get started. So the next step is take the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. It's go right now, do it. Listen, I think right now we could all agree we are in a metabolic crisis, and I don't know that I think the best way to approach this is like the conversation we've just had. It's been very healthy about looking at getting to natural causes of why problems are occurring. There's always a time and place for medicine, as we all know, but I don't know that we're in a metabolic crisis because we're deficient in chemicals and drugs. I think the real answer is let's take responsibility for our health. Let's help really, if we're going to be healthy again, if we're really going to help other people, it does start with you, starts with me, starts with all of us. Yeah. And if there's a way to do that in a healthy way, I've always gravitated towards that. And I think I would have to imagine if anybody is coming to see you as a patient, you've already taught them those things and they're wanting a natural approach if they can to really get to the cause of the problem. And I really believe we have a real solution to a real metabolic crisis. We're not the only solution, but we are a real solution that does do it the right way, that we feel great about, that we, not just saying do what we say, do what we did. I'm alive today, 15 years later, with a prognosis that was overwhelming. And I'm so thankful to God for what I had to go through, because we wouldn't even be doing today what we're doing if I hadn't gone through that. My best friend, 65 pounds down, living his best life, has put us in groups and circles and mentorships where we'd even meet somebody like you, Dr. Michael. So there's always a plan in place, and this is a great connection we have with you. We're so excited to support you and your community.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. And I feel the same way. It's great to get to know you guys. Look forward to working together in the future. Let's continue to bring some health, some metabolic reset, some uplift and encouragement to people, get them living their best lives physically.
Just promise you'll come on our podcast soon.
I will. I'll be on your podcast soon. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be glad to do that. That'd be lovely. Thank you
Awesome,
all.
man. Thank you,
Well,
bro.
a pleasure. And everyone out there in listener land, we wish you well. We're praying for you. And, if you need a bit of reset on the metabolism and just take some stubborn weight off, I think this is a gold mine opportunity. So,
Awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Of course.